From scrapyard to stars, Maya Chen stared out at the infinite blackness of space through the scratched viewport of her salvage vessel, the Opportunity. The ship was little more than a flying scrapyard itself, cobbled together from 3 different civilian haulers and held together by the engineering genius of her crew and a healthy dose of luck. "Captain, you're going to want to see this," called Riker, her navigation officer, his voice crackling over the outdated comm system. Maya pushed away from the viewport and made her way to the bridge, her magnetic boots clanking against the metal floor. The Opportunity wasn't large enough to generate its own gravity, just one of its many shortcomings. "What have you found?" she asked as she entered the cramped control room. Riker pointed to the long-range scanner. "Something big, drifting in Sector 7 of the belt. Not an asteroid. Artificial construction. No energy signature, but it's massive." Maya leaned in, studying the readout. After 10 years scavenging the outer rim, she developed an instinct for valuable finds. This one made her pulse quicken. "Get the crew prepped for EVA. I want a closer look." Within an hour, Maya was floating through space alongside her chief engineer Eliza Okafor and security specialist Dax Wolf. The 3 of them approached the mysterious object with practiced caution. "Gods," whispered Eliza through the comms as they cleared the last asteroid obscuring their view. Before them floated a vessel unlike anything they had seen before. It was sleek, with curves that seemed to defy human design principles. The hull was dark purple, almost black, with no visible seams or wells. It was at least 4 times the size of the Opportunity, yet silent and still, like a ghost ship. "Xenotech," Dax said, his hand instinctively moving to the modified pulse rifle strapped to his back. "Taraxi design, maybe." Maya shook her head. "Taraxi ships are bulbous. This is something else, something we haven't encountered before." They approached carefully, sweeping for traps or defenses. Finding none, they located what appeared to be an airlock, and after some trial and error, managed to activate the emergency manual override. Inside, the alien vessel was dark, illuminated only by their helmet lights. The air was stale but breathable according to their suit sensors. "This ship's been adrift for a long time," Eliza said, running her gloved hand along a wall covered in strange, angular writing. "But the preservation is remarkable. No significant damage that I can see." Maya nodded. "Spread out. Standard salvage protocol. Tag anything valuable or interesting, but don't remove anything yet." For 3 hours, they explored the ghost ship, finding technologies that made even Eliza, with her doctorate in xenoengineering, gasp in amazement. The propulsion system alone would revolutionize human space travel if they could understand how it worked. In what they assumed was the command center, Maya found it. A spherical device about the size of a human head, pulsing with a faint blue light even after what must have been years of dormancy. "Eliza," she called over the comms, "I need your expertise here." When Eliza arrived, her eyes widened behind her helmet visor. That's an AI core, advanced beyond anything humanity has developed, and it's still active. "Can we salvage it?" Maya asked. Eliza studied the connections. "Yes, but carefully. This isn't just technology. If it's what I think it is, this is a sentient system. Removing it wrong would be tantamount to brain surgery with a hacksaw." "Take whatever time you need," Maya replied. This find could change everything. They were just completing the careful extraction of the AI core when Dax's urgent voice came through their comms. "Captain, we've got company. Helios Corporation warship just entered the sector. They're on an intercept course." Maya cursed. Helios Corporation, the largest private military contractor in human space, had been dogging their salvage operations for years. With their political connections, they could claim almost anything of value as essential to human security. "Time to extraction?" she asked. 20 minutes at best," Dax replied. "They'll be on us in 15. Maya made a quick decision. "Pack up what we've secured. Priority on the AI core and the propulsion schematics. We're leaving. But Captain, Eliza protested, we've barely scratched the surface of what's here. And we'll lose it all if Helios gets their hands on us, Maya countered. We'll mark the location. Maybe we can return later. They barely made it back to the Opportunity before the Helios warship appeared, a sleek, corporate-branded predator of a vessel that made their salvage ship look like the garbage scow it essentially was. The comm system crackled to life with an incoming transmission. A stern face appeared on the view screen, wearing the silver-trimmed uniform of a Helios security commander. Unregistered vessel, this is Commander Vega of the HCS Enforcer. You are trespassing in a restricted area. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded for inspection. Maya exchanged glances with her bridge crew. They all knew what inspection meant. Helios would confiscate everything of value and likely press charges for illegal salvage. Commander, Maya replied smoothly, we're simply a registered salvage vessel exercising our right to claim abandoned material under the Outer Rim Accords of 2187. We'd be happy to file the proper paperwork. Your registration expired 3 years ago. Captain Chen, Vega interrupted with a smirk. And the accords don't apply to technology classified as Level 9 restricted, which our scans indicate you have aboard. Last warning. Power down, or we will disable your vessel. Maya cut the transmission. Riker, plot us a course through the densest part of the asteroid belt. Eliza, I need everything you can give me from our engines. They'll follow us, Dax warned. That ship can outrun and outgun us 10 times over. But they can't outmaneuver us in the belt, Maya replied. Not with their size. We know these rocks better than anyone. For the next hour, the Opportunity weaved and dodged through the asteroid field, taking risks no corporate captain would dare. They sustained damage. A hull breach in Cargo Bay 3, loss of their secondary thrusters. But eventually, the Enforcer fell behind, unwilling to risk their billion-credit warship on a wild chase through the asteroids. Once they were clear, Maya called her core crew to the secure hold where they'd stored the alien AI core. Helios doesn't give up, she told them. They'll put a bounty on us, monitor every port and station. We can't sell what we've salvaged, and we can't go back for the rest. So we're finished, Dax said bitterly. All that risk for nothing. No, Maya replied, her eyes gleaming with determination. We're going to use what we found. Eliza, could we integrate this technology with human systems? Build something new? Eliza considered the question. Theoretically, yes. The principles are universal even if the implementation is alien. But we'd need more than what we have here. Components, power sources, weapons if we want to defend ourselves from Helios. Maya nodded. Then we do what we've always done. We salvage. We build. But this time, we're not building to sell. We're building for ourselves. Building what exactly? Riker asked. A ship, Maya replied. Not just any ship. A vessel that combines the best of human ingenuity with advanced alien tech. Something Helios and their corporate overlords couldn't even imagine. Her crew looked at her skeptically, but Maya could see the spark of possibility igniting in their eyes. It's crazy, Dax said finally, but I'm in. One by one, the others nodded their agreement. Then it's settled, Maya said. From today forward, we're not just salvagers, we're builders. Over the next 6 months, the crew of the Opportunity became the most wanted salvagers in the Outer Rim. They hit derelict vessels, abandoned outposts, even dared to raid corporate scrapyards. Each operation was carefully planned, targeting specific components they needed for their audacious project. They found a secluded asteroid with a natural cavern large enough to serve as their shipyard. Inside this makeshift base, guided by Eliza's brilliance and the mysterious alien AI they had managed to partially interface with, a new vessel began to take shape. The hull was a patchwork of salvaged plates, some military-grade, others civilian, a few even xenotech. The propulsion system combined the alien technology with modified human engines, creating a hybrid drive that defied conventional physics. Weapons systems from 3 different human governments were integrated alongside defensive technologies reverse-engineered from the alien vessel. At the heart of it all was the alien AI core, which they had named Echo after it began communicating through simple patterns of light that Eliza eventually deciphered as a form of language. The day they powered up the completed ship, everyone held their breath. Systems that should never have been compatible hummed to life in perfect harmony. The lights flickered on, revealing a bridge that looked like a mad scientist's dream. A blend of sleek alien interfaces and rough human practicality. "It's alive," Eliza whispered as the main viewscreen activated, displaying Echo's communication interface, a pulsing blue sphere. "Welcome aboard," an oddly melodic voice emanated from the ship's speakers. Echo had found its voice. Maya stepped forward, placing her hand on the central console. "What do we call her?" Dax looked around at the vessel built from discarded parts, yet more powerful than anything they had ever known. "How about the Reclaimer? Because we reclaimed what others threw away and made it into something extraordinary." Maya nodded, feeling the vibration of the ship's systems through her palm. "The Reclaimer it is. And it's time to show the galaxy what the cast-offs and rejects can really do." Little did they know that their first true test would come sooner than expected, as a threat emerged that would force humanity to depend on the very outcasts they had pushed to the fringes of society. Proving ground. 3 weeks after the Reclaimer's maiden voyage, Maya and her crew were hovering at the edge of the Callisto mining colony's sensor range. Their ship, with its mismatched hull and unorthodox design, had already gained a reputation in the shadowy corners of human space, a ghost vessel that appeared and disappeared without warning, impossible to track or intercept. "Helios patrol approaching," Riker announced from his station. 2 corvettes, standard security detail for the mining transports. Maya nodded. "Status of the cloaking system. Functioning at 94% efficiency," Eliza replied, her fingers dancing across her jury-rigged console. "Echo has compensated for the power fluctuations in Sector 3. They will not detect us unless we wish to be seen," Echo's calm voice added. The alien AI had become increasingly integrated with both the ship and crew, developing what could only be described as a personality, curious, logical, but with an unexpected streak of dry humor. "Good," Maya said. "Let's watch the patrol pattern and—" She was interrupted by an urgent tone from the sensor array. Dax frowned at his readings. "Captain, I'm picking up anomalous signals from the outer system. Definitely not human or any known species. Multiple signatures approaching at high velocity." Maya moved to his station, studying the data. "Echo, analysis." The blue sphere on the main viewscreen pulsed rapidly. "The signatures match partial records from my original database. High probability these are vessels belonging to the Viridian Collective." "And who exactly are the Viridian Collective?" Maya asked. "A species known for aggressive expansion and resource appropriation," Echo replied. "My creators were at war with them when my original vessel was damaged and set adrift. They consider other sentient life to be inefficient users of resources. The implications settled heavily on the bridge." "They're coming to invade," Dax stated flatly. Maya's mind raced. They had no obligation to warn anyone. Most of human space considered them criminals now. But the mining colony housed over 20,000 people, most of them just workers trying to survive. "How long until they reach Callisto?" she asked. "Approximately 6 hours at current velocity," Echo answered. Maya made her decision. "Riker, set a course for Callisto Central. Direct approach, no hiding. Eliza, power up all systems. Dax, weapons on standby only. We are not starting a fight, but we'll finish one if necessary." The Reclaimer decloaked and accelerated toward the colony, its hybrid engines leaving a trail of ethereal blue light unlike any human vessel. As expected, they were challenged immediately. "Unidentified vessel. This is Callisto's security. You are approaching a restricted zone. Identify yourself, or we will open fire. Maya opened a channel. Callisto Security. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Independent Vessel Reclaimer. We have detected non-human vessels approaching your system with hostile intent. ETA 6 hours. Request immediate audience with colony leadership. There was a pause. Then, Captain Chen, you are wanted for theft of corporate property and illegal salvage operations. Power down and prepare to be boarded. Maya sighed. Echo, show them what's coming. The AI transmitted the sensor data directly to Callisto's defense network. Another, longer pause followed. Stand by. Reclaimer. 10 minutes later, Maya found herself in a tense video conference with Colony Governor Diaz and, unexpectedly, Commander Vega of Helios Security. This could be an elaborate hoax to avoid capture, Vega insisted after Maya explained the situation. The data is genuine, Governor Diaz replied, her face grave. Our deep space arrays have confirmed unknown vessels approaching at high speed. The question is, why would criminals risk capture to warn us? Because some things are more important than corporate profit margins, Maya replied evenly. Those ships belong to a species called the Viridian Collective. They're resource harvesters, and they don't care what, or who, they have to process to get what they want. And how exactly do you know this? Vega demanded. Maya hesitated, then decided full disclosure was their only option. She explained about the alien vessel they'd found, the AI core they'd salvaged, and what Echo had told them about the Viridians. You integrated an alien artificial intelligence into a ship built from stolen parts. Vega looked incredulous. That's not just illegal, it's insane. It's also your best chance at surviving what's coming, Maya countered. The Reclaimer has capabilities your ships don't. We've integrated technologies from multiple sources, creating systems the Viridians won't be prepared for. Governor Diaz studied Maya carefully. What are you proposing, Captain? A temporary alliance, Maya replied. We help defend the colony, and in exchange, all charges against my crew are dropped, and we maintain ownership of the Reclaimer. Absolutely not, Vega began, but Governor Diaz raised a hand to silence him. Can your vessel make a difference against an alien invasion fleet? She asked. Maya met her gaze steadily. Yes. 4 hours later, the Reclaimer joined Callisto's meager defense force, 3 Helios corvettes, and a handful of retrofitted mining vessels with point defense weapons. Commander Vega, after much protest, had agreed to coordinate with Maya, though his distrust was palpable. The Viridians will deploy harvester vessels first, Echo explained during the strategy meeting. These are their equivalent of landing craft, designed to establish resource collection points. Their main vessels will remain in orbit to process what the harvesters collect. And by resources, you mean our people and infrastructure, Vega said grimly. Correct. Biological matter is particularly valued for its complex molecular structures. The defenders set up a perimeter around the colony, with the mining vessels protecting the civilian evacuation ships, while the military vessels prepared to engage the invaders. When the Viridian fleet arrived, it was more terrifying than anyone had imagined. 12 massive processor ships, each the size of a small moon, surrounded by swarms of smaller harvester vessels. Their hulls were a sickly green, covered in what looked like technological tumors, processing nodes, and collection apparatuses. There are too many, Vega muttered as they watched the alien formation approaching. Numbers aren't everything, Maya replied. Echo, initiate Operation Chameleon. The Reclaimer suddenly shifted, its energy signature changing to mimic that of the Viridian vessels. Before anyone could question the strategy, Maya ordered the ship to accelerate directly toward the invasion fleet. We can't outgun them, she explained to a stunned Vega over the comm. But we can confuse them. While we distract them, your ships need to target the harvester vessels' collection systems, the vein-like structures on their undersides. That's their most vulnerable point. The gamble worked better than they could have hoped. The reclaimer, appearing as a friendly signal to the Viridians, penetrated deep into their formation before unleashing a barrage of hybrid weapons. Human railguns firing projectiles enhanced with alien energy signatures that bypassed Viridian shields designed to repel pure energy attacks. The confusion allowed Callisto's defenders to engage from multiple vectors, focusing their fire as Maya had directed. 3 harvester vessels exploded in quick succession. But the Viridians adapted quickly. A concentrated beam from one of the processor ships struck the reclaimer, cutting through its starboard hull. Shields at 37%. Eliza reported, fighting to reroute power. We can't take another hit like that. Maya looked at Echo's interface. The transmission node on the lead processor. Could we use it? The AI pulsed rapidly. If we could access their command network, yes. But we would need direct contact. How direct? Physical integration with their systems. Maya took a deep breath. Then that's what we'll do. Riker, set a collision course for the lead processor's transmission array. Eliza, prepare to channel all power to Echo at my signal. Dax will need to evacuate the ship after impact. Prep the escape pods. Her crew stared at her in disbelief. You want to ram them? Dax finally asked. Not ram. Dock, uninvited. Maya clarified. Echo will interface with their network while we evacuate. Once inside their systems, Echo can disrupt their entire fleet. And what happens to Echo? Eliza asked quietly. The AI's voice was calm. I will likely be unable to extract myself from their network after disruption is complete. This is an acceptable outcome. Maya looked at the pulsing blue sphere. We're not sacrificing you. It is the logical solution. Echo replied. My existence has always been unexpected, a second chance. It is fitting that it serves a purpose greater than survival. There was no time to argue. The Viridian fleet was regrouping, preparing to launch a coordinated attack that would overwhelm Callisto's defenses. The reclaimer accelerated toward the lead processor ship, dodging energy beams and harvester vessels. Its hybrid engines pushed beyond safe limits, leaving a spectral trail through space. Impact in 30 seconds, Riker announced, his voice tight. Maya opened a channel to the Callisto defenders. All vessels, prepare to target the processor ships when their network destabilizes. You'll only have a short window. The reclaimer slammed into the transmission array of the lead processor, its reinforced bow punching through the alien structure. Emergency bulkheads sealed automatically as atmosphere vented from breached sections. Initiating interface, Echo announced as the ship's systems connected with the alien network. The lights flickered, and strange symbols flashed across every screen. All crew to escape pods, Maya ordered. Now. As they raced through the corridors, the ship trembled around them. Strange energies arsing between surfaces. The Viridian vessel seemed to be attempting to assimilate the reclaimer, not realizing the trap it was falling into. From the escape pod, Maya watched as energy surged through the joined vessels. Echo was overwhelming the Viridian network, introducing complex paradoxes and recursive commands that their systems couldn't process. One by one, the alien ships began to drift, their lights flickering and dying as Echo's viral codes spread through their command network. Target the processors now. Maya called over the emergency communicator. Callisto's defenders unleashed everything they had. Without their shields and coordination, the massive Viridian vessels were vulnerable. Explosions bloomed across their hulls as critical systems failed. Within minutes, the invasion had been transformed into a retreat, the surviving Viridian vessels struggling to disengage from orbit, their movements erratic and uncoordinated. But the victory came at a cost. The reclaimer, still embedded in the lead processor, was breaking apart as the alien vessel's self-destruct sequence activated. Echo. Maya called over the ship's emergency channel, not knowing if the AI could still hear her. We did it. Thank you. To everyone's surprise, a response came, not over the comms, but directly to the displays in the escape pod. Downloading core processes now. Prepare for emergency transfer. A beam of energy shot from the dying reclaimer to the escape pod. The pod's simple systems overloaded momentarily, then stabilized as a familiar blue sphere appeared on the display. Reduced functionality. Echo's voice announced, sounding strained, but survival confirmed. The crew cheered as the Viridian processor ship exploded, taking the remains of the reclaimer with it, but leaving its heart, its true intelligence, intact. In the aftermath, humanity faced a new reality. The existence of the Viridian threat forced a revaluation of priorities. Maya and her crew, once outlaws, were recognized as heroes, albeit uncomfortable ones. Governor Diaz honored her agreement, dropping all charges and additionally providing resources for a new ship. Commander Vega, to everyone's surprise, personally oversaw the project, bringing Helios Corporation's considerable resources to bear. Why the change of heart? Maya asked him as they reviewed the designs for the new vessel, officially designated as a hybrid defense prototype, but already being called Reclaimer AI by everyone involved. Vega looked at her directly. Because you were right. Some things are more important than corporate profit margins. The Viridians will return, and when they do, we'll need more ships like yours. Unconventional, adaptable, impossible to predict. The new vessel took shape quickly, incorporating lessons learned from both the original Reclaimer and the Viridian technology they'd encountered. Echo, gradually recovering in a temporary housing unit, provided insights that accelerated the development. 6 months later, Maya stood on the bridge of the Reclaimer Aya, her original crew at their stations, augmented now by a team of specialists, including former Helios engineers who had volunteered for the assignment. Systems online, Captain, Eliza reported. Echo integration complete. The blue sphere appeared on the main console, brighter than before. All functions optimal. It is good to be home. Maya smiled. Let's see what she can do. As the new vessel rose from the construction bay, its hybrid systems humming with power, Maya couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. From salvagers to defenders, from outcasts to pioneers, all because they had seen value in what others discarded and possibilities where others saw only trash. The Reclaimer Aya accelerated into space, leaving a trail of blue-white energy unlike any human or alien vessel, a unique signature for a unique ship, a warship built from trash that now patrolled the stars as humanity's most unexpected defender. And somewhere out in the void, the Viridians were regrouping. Other threats were stirring, and the galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. Never underestimate humanity's ability to adapt, to rebuild, and to transform the discarded into the extraordinary.